and welcome to our live chat today. We're chatting with Lara Jennings from Offspring Education. Hi, Lara.
Hi.
So first, before we start, I just thought I'd ask everybody who's watching, who's here and where are you tuning in from today? So let me find the Facebook screen. Make sure that everything's working. Okay. Now, this is the first time I've used the Be Live format, so I'm just trying to work my way around it.
Hi, Katie. Hi, Danielle.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
I like so today. Oh, here, there's the comments.
Hey,
now I can see them. Hi, Emma. Tuning in from Sunshine Coast. Dee's here. She's in bed. Katie's tuning in from Airlie Beach today. Fantastic. Okay, wonderful to see you all here. Now, I just wanted to remind everybody that you can register to win. We've got prizes today. Lara's giving away 2 wonderful prizes, and we're also giving away a Maya gift card valued at $100, so you can go and have a shopping spree and buy things for yourself. So that's pretty cool. Katie's going to add the link for that there in the comments. So Katie, if you could add the link where you register for our upcoming 28-day challenge, and you'll go into the draw to win the prizes that we've got today for chat. Okay.
Exciting.
So Lara, we'd love to hear about your journey. So can you tell us about you, about Offspring Education, what it is, and why you started it?
Okay. Well, I'm Lara, obviously, and I am the founder of Offspring Education. So prior to being that person, I was a teacher, and I taught primary trained teacher, but I taught secondary as well. And yeah, I loved teaching. I loved the concept of, helping small people, develop their mind and all of that kind of stuff. But it was really hard, and there were a lot of things that I didn't like about it. And I fell pregnant with my first child and left teaching thinking that would be enough for me, and decided to study accounting, because as you do. And yeah, but I just missed it. I know that things can be done better, and I just wanted to get back into it in a place where I could try and make a bit of a difference in there. So yeah, so Offspring Education officially launched in January 2015, but in in about March 2014, the idea to kind of start my own business started to take over in my mind, and I was talking about that with my husband as well, and I always wanted to do something that would help families be more involved in the education of their children, because as a teacher I thought that was something that was needed. I thought I didn't spend enough time with the families that I was working with, and I wanted to give them something that would get them involved in the education process. So yeah, we started looking at selling educational resources at markets based on that idea to families. And then Offspring Education kind of blossomed from there, really. Yeah.
Fantastic. And you're really passionate about education because your own experience in school wasn't particularly positive all the time. You had some teachers who gave you a hard time. Can you tell us a bit about, what happened to you and how that's impacted your thoughts about education?
Yeah, sure. So as a student myself, I guess, I just thought we did a lot of boring, pointless stuff at school as a student, and I know a lot of teenagers probably would have just kind of gone with the flow, but I didn't. I kind of kicked up a stink about it, and I wasn't the nicest student in my classes. And I remember specifically my Year 7 teacher wrote on my report card for for textiles, because I really did not want to learn to sew at all, just had no interest in it whatsoever. And she wrote on my report card that Lara in textiles was a waste of time. So yeah, that was probably the bit that really kind of sticks in my mind as being, all right, well, that if that's what people think about me and what they think about my learning, then like so be it. And I kind of rebelled from there, and I was always naughty. I was always in trouble. I was always questioning what my teachers were telling me. And yeah, and I just saw a lot of what we were doing in high school as being really pointless. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until I had a teacher who actually cared, and I'm sure that most teachers do care, but he actually showed that he cared. So he listened to us and listened to who we were as students, and he really kind of made me want to be a teacher. So because I didn't want other children to have the same experiences that I had, I wanted them to feel like that they were getting what they should be getting from their education. So yeah, so he made me want to be a teacher, and that's the reason why I went into teaching, is because I wanted to help children find who they are as people, and find what they're passionate about, and find their strengths, and really get that from their education experience. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then when you went into teaching, was it that the reality of that not as possible as you thought, the constraints of curriculum and reporting and all of that? Like, is that what your experience was?
Yeah, definitely. So as a teacher, I could see just a whole bunch of systematic processes that really, everything's just so full. Like, there's just so much stuff in the curriculum. There's so many things that are expected of children to learn, and a lot of it, just isn't all that relevant to them, or isn't things that they want to be doing. So or that they really kind of need to be doing. There's a really beautiful TED Talk called School in the Cloud, which is by Sugata Mitra, which when I first started my business was a TED Talk that really kind of made me think a lot about everything and about what I wanted to do. And in essence, he talks about how the education system was developed so long ago for us to really kind of talk the same way, write the same way, do maths the same way. Like it's made for the industrial era, where, they just want, it's like a factory where we all should be doing the same thing and being the same, acting the same way and all of that kind of stuff. And so that's what the education system started for. And then you can see that as jobs changed and as our society became more complex, then so did the curriculum. So there's just all of this stuff that got thrown into the curriculum that doesn't necessarily need to be there, because we have the internet now, yeah? Like, we can learn whatever we want to learn through our technology. So we don't actually need to be cramming children with all of this knowledge about stuff. Like, we really should be encouraging them to learn about what they want to learn about, and, encouraging them to find themselves and that kind of thing, and just make it a bit more personal. Like, because children actually are learners. Like, they're born learners. They love learning. Little babies are so curious about the world around them, and they just want to learn everything that's in front of them. They're like little sponges. And children just, they have that innate sense of curiosity, that innate sense of wanting to learn. And unfortunately, sometimes in the curriculum, that kind of squishes, that innate sense of curiosity gets squished down, because what they're learning about is quite irrelevant. So so I think that the education system does need a big change. Like, we need to do something about that, and we need to evolve with the times. I saw just briefly, I haven't read it yet because I'm so busy, but I saw briefly that Finland are getting rid of school subjects, and I was like, yes, we need to be doing that too. Like, concentrating on the learner, not on the stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we're seeing more and more people branch into homeschooling and that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. So, and there are alternatives, and there's lots of families who are seeking those alternatives because they either had a really rough experience with school themselves, or, they can see that their children aren't flourishing in that environment or aren't getting what they need from that environment. So they are seeking that alternative solution to schools, which is, exciting. And I think the more that happens, the more it will keep happening. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I think it's time for a prize now. So, Lara, can you tell us about our first prize?
Sure. Well, we'll do the magnetic rocket stacker first, which is one of my favorite products on our website. So it's a good product for younger ones, like, under 3 or even like just a bit older 3. But yeah, so we'll give that one away first, I think.
Awesome. Katie, are you there? Are you able to put up a photo of that prize, the rocket stacker, in the comments? Okay. Oh, yes, it's there. Okay.
Cool.
Excellent. All right. And Lara, you've got a question. That,
I do. So the question for the rocket stacker is, what brand is on our website that starts with a G?
So you need to go to Offspring Education. The website's there on the screen.
How cool is that? It comes up on the screen now.
Yeah.
And be live.
You need to be registered, but first so that we can email you, but first to answer will be the winner. So go and check out Lara's website and find the brand starting with G.
Starts with G.
Starting with G. Who's it going to be? Here we go. Is that correct?
Oh. Yep, that is a brand that's on our website that starts with G. Winning.
Giotto. Congratulations, Lucia D'Amello. First prize winner.
Yay!
Awesome. Yay. Okay, so make sure that you are signed up so we can
rocket stacker coming your way.
Fantastic. Okay, so the next thing I'd like to talk about is how you've managed rapid growth, because you started out with this little idea, you went along to the markets and had some products to sell to parents, and that was just 2015, wasn't it? Like, it wasn't that long ago.
Well, yeah, now 2014 was the small market stall type thing that we were going on.
And it was just this little thing. And now here we are, 2017, and you've almost reached your first $1 million, which is just incredible. And congratulations for that. That's incredible.
Thanks. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Yeah. So, well, what I guess how our growth started and how I could see that our business could transform to something more than just a market stall was we kept getting educators come to our stall and tell us that the products that we had were the same products that they used in their centre, but that our prices were really good compared to who they currently purchase it from. So that made me kind of think about, well, why? Like, how is that even possible? Like, how can I, offer these products to centres then if our prices are just as good? Because I really believe that, children's education shouldn't be ripped off with ridiculous prices for resources. So, so we looked at that as a business idea, and we, looked at competitors in that market. So we did the business plan. So growth really kind of started with the plan, and then it exploded from there. So how we managed that was just like tried to keep on top of it, like tried to really look at what was happening and look at the direction and, bring in people where we needed to. So, managing, and it's been hard. Like, it really hasn't been easy. I remember messaging Monica Meldrum, the owner of Whole Kids, a couple of times going, oh, my God, I don't know what I'm doing or how to do this. So it hasn't been easy, but that's how we've kind of done it, is just kept looking at what's happening in our business and kept, just kept planning and kept trying to manage everything that's happening and what's coming in and how can we, achieve that. Yeah. So that's kind of how we've done it.
Yeah. And you were saying you started off with a business plan. So can you tell us about that first business plan?
Sure. Well, I visited Kangan Institute, who run like small business mentor workshops. So I visited them when we realised that we probably could have a B2B business where we were supplying to other businesses. I visited them because I had no idea how to do this at all, and they the guy that I spoke to was like, well, have you got a business plan? And I basically said, what's a business plan? And he handed me a template that was about 30 pages, and I just filled in that template. So I answered every question that I could see was relevant to our business on that template. There was some stuff that I just deleted because I figured it wasn't necessary for us. But yeah, I filled in every single one of those questions. Like, I did competitor analysis. I projected figures. I projected profit based on, well, if we sell this much stuff and we have this much profit, then what do we need to, do to cover our costs? Like, we really just, planned out everything, and I looked at everything. But it didn't necessarily flow like that. So after the plan got put into place, it didn't stay to that plan. Like, I didn't factor in other things that I just didn't know about until they actually happened. So yeah. Yeah.
So what would your advice be to people who have a business plan and then things don't go to plan? Like, what do you do?
Well, it's okay. Like, it's okay to have a business plan and for it to not work, like, or, to not eventuate in the way that you thought it would. Just keep reevaluating it and re-looking at that and reassessing, and keep working on it and adjust accordingly. Like, business plans, they're important because they give you goals and they give you, just direction, but you can be flexible with that direction. So, and there were lots of different ways that we could go with our business plan. Like, I really thought that when we opened up our brick and mortar store, I thought that we could turn it into a bit of a homeschool hub where we would have, homeschool groups coming and, just like this environment where we've got children learning in there and like this group homeschool learning situation. But it never really happened because it wasn't needed. Like, there wasn't a space in the market for that. So, we just scrapped that idea and went with another one. Like, yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love seeing the way that businesses evolve, and I think it happens for almost everyone. They start out and they've got all these ideas for what the business is going to look like and how things are going to happen. But actually, once they start going, that's not what the market wants. And then it's your ability to adapt to what the market does want that makes it work. So has that been your experience as well?
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. I worked with a business mentor after we won our first business award. I worked with a business mentor who was a judge of that award. And he was telling me, like, he was always saying spinning plates, like talking about, so, you put a plate up and you spin it around and see what happens with it. And then you have like multiple spinning plates and, you just see which one stays up in the air. Like, he was always talking to me about that. So I always think about that too. Yeah. That I've got, heaps of plates going on and whatever happens. So, yeah, unfortunately it feels like, the homeschool hub type idea was one of those plates that like came crashing to the ground because it didn't actually eventuate. But that's okay because we've still got all of these other plates happening. So, yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Now, you did touch, I know that for you, and particularly this year, your husband injured and out of work and unable to work. Have I dropped out?
Yeah. We dealt with that. My husband. I ran the first 12 months of our business by myself because, like, we still weren't sure it was going to take off or work, and we were just still, trying things out and still quite new. But after 12 months, he came into the business full time. Thank goodness, because felt like I was drowning half the time. Like, so I really, really needed him to come in and help out. And we had just finished our first new centre fit out. So we just finished the delivery, and he fell playing squash with his nieces and broke both of his wrists. So he was out for 6 weeks with that, which wasn't particularly fun. And I'm just glad that by that stage it still wasn't just me and him. Like, we had a team around us. So we still had, 3 other staff members at that time who could also, help us out and pick up where we needed them to. So, yeah, and that's been an interesting kind of juggle as well. Like, we we've hired staff, and roles have changed around the staff that we've had too. So we haven't always like kept them in that role that we originally hired them for. But we've worked really like together as a team, and I guess that's probably been a big part of how we've been able to do that. We're like a little family. Our core group of 4 that really started. Yeah, we're like a little family.
And what do you look for when you're hiring staff? Because staff can be a bit of a tricky one for a lot of business owners. So do you have any tips around staff?
Yeah, we went with, well, we want people who are passionate about our business. So we didn't advertise like widely. We just put social media posts out because we figured that if they were already a fan of our page, then they were already like-minded, like they already liked what we were doing and were part of our tribe already. So we really wanted to hire staff who were within that tribe. Yeah. And that's how we got our first staff members.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Good. Now, the other thing that you were talking about with your business plan, it's really important to know about what's happening with your numbers and the finances. Can you talk to us a bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. I studied accounting. So once I left teaching, I put myself into a position where I did understand business finances, and I thought I was going to be a business bookkeeper as I studied accounting because I always liked numbers and was kind of over teaching. But I think that really had helped. That's really, really helped my business as well, because I get those figures. Like I get a lot of what we're talking about. I get a lot of what we're looking at, and I do know business owners who just don't understand their profit and loss, and just haven't got that business basics. Because when you know your numbers, it's not, you can passion is really good for a business, and obviously you need to have passion to keep going through the times that are hard. But there's no point in having a whole lot of passion if your business isn't viable, if it's not if it's just not functional as a business. So you need to make sure that your numbers make sense and that what you're doing is still a good business opportunity. Yeah. And just having that knowledge helps.
And what's your advice for people who do struggle with numbers? Like, should they just hand it all over to a bookkeeper, or what do you think they should be doing?
Well, I think you do. I think you need to bring someone in who does know numbers if you're not sure. It's really an important part of your business, and you need to bring someone in. But you need to make sure that you don't just hand it over to them, that you still check in on it, that you still are working with them to try and understand what it is that they're doing and why they're doing it. Because I'm not comfortable personally throwing all of those kind of things over to someone else and not being able to check in on that. You still need to be able to understand it to be able to know that you're in a good spot.
Yeah, excellent. So happens in the journey where you've just gone, this is too much, I want to quit?
Yep. Several times. Yeah.
and what that's like, and then also how you got through it, because I know it's pretty common for business owners to go through really challenging times and get to that point where they think, why am I doing this? Is it worth it?
Yeah, I think I in particular, we kind of go a bit gung-ho about things, and we don't sit back and think about things very much, and that was probably one of our downfalls, in the early days, where we just went, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to have this, and we'll, put all these things in place. We'll put all these staff on to manage this workload, and we'll, get that lease happening. But then it didn't quite work, and we almost got ourselves into a bit of a pickle there, where I thought we were going to lose our business, and where we just where I felt like this isn't working, and it's not, just things weren't working, and we had to make some pretty tough decisions there. But that was when we made the move to Western Base. So I think that has really helped, like just having that support network of people around who you can talk to about those kind of things and who are there to support you and help you. So I think that's probably the big thing is when that happens, when you feel like things aren't working. I know a lot of business owners, I used to work for business owners who would just put their head in the sand and they just kind of ignore those problems that are creeping up. But you can't do that. If you ignore it, they just escalate. So you have to make sure that you talk about it, you nut it out, you come up with a plan of attack and you move forward. Yeah. But it can be hard because it's at those times where a lot of businesses do just give up, where they just think, nah, it's too hard and I can't do it and, I don't want to deal with this anymore, and they do give up. But, I think if you just kind of push through and have a plan and you're passionate and that, you're working towards something that is viable, then you definitely can do it and keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. And you've talked about Western Base a couple of times. Can you just quickly tell us what it is? And
sure. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Well, Western Base is a business accelerator hub. So it's located in Melton. It's about 35 kilometres west of Melton, and not west of Melton. It's in Melton, 35 kilometres west of Melbourne, and it's got so there's a whole bunch of businesses in here who are part of the Business Accelerator program. So the idea is that you come in for 3 years, you learn, you grow, you're accountable, which is something that can be hard when you own your own business. There's not really anyone else that you can be accountable to, and lots of decisions are yours, and that makes it a bit hard. But there's this accountability when you're in a place like this where you meet with people. Like there's so here we've got fortnightly, they're called ideation sessions, where the businesses that are part of the program come together every fortnight and sit down and talk about issues that they might be having in the business, and just bounce different ideas off people. But there's always other people around who just are there to help. Like they just know what you're going through, and you can talk to them about it. So that's what I like about Western Base. Yeah, that's what it is. And there's a few of them popping up around the place, I believe. I know there's, one in the city. Oh, can't remember the name of it. Dream Factory, that kind of thing in many. Yeah, there's a few around.
Yeah.
So yeah, and hook up with those. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have to apply to get into that program?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. So we had to submit financials and all of that kind of stuff. We had to go through an interview process and do all that jazz. So yeah.
Awesome. Very good. Yeah. Now you have some tips you're going to share with us today. You've got the tip sheet.
I do. Yes. I created a little tip sheet. It's my first little tip sheet that I created. So
your first one, find like-minded people.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that?
I can elaborate on that. So, well, I think Osmompreneur Network has been a huge part of me being able to find like-minded people. In the early days, I remember sitting down and having lunch with Peace and a few of the other mums who were in business and thinking, this is great. I can learn so much from these ladies, and it's just nice to know that I wasn't the only one stupid enough to have children and try and run a business. It was good to just sit down with a few of those people. So definitely that's been a big part of it. Social networking, if you can't get out of the house because you're stuck with sick kids and things like that, then, use social media. It's there as a tool to be able to link in with other people who you can, just bounce ideas off, get support from. Definitely. There is no way I would be able to run a business without all of the other people I talk to about my business. I value their input every day. So, yeah.
So your next tip is to know your niche. Can you explain that for us?
Yeah, sure. Well, and our niche changed. We first thought our niche would be families, but, our niche has grown. And then we thought maybe it could be homeschoolers, but, now it's definitely early childhood. So, it's just knowing what your market is, knowing who your market is, knowing what they want from you as someone who is providing a service or providing a product to them. and knowing what what value you bring to that market, definitely. So just nutting all of that out and having a business plan helps you definitely to do that. Like, you've got to kind of target that down before you can
and that goes into your next, which is about flexible planning.
Yes, we talked about that already, I feel like. Yeah, but like, have a plan, run with it, and if it's, but be flexible with it. Like, adapt, change. Like, a couple of things that we do now that I never thought we would do and was never in our business plan is those new centre fit out jobs. Like, I just didn't even know that could be a thing that we could do, but we do it. And it's kind of a bit like, my husband's a bit of a stickler for say yes and work out how to do it later. Like, so, if you think you can do it and if it fits with your brand, then, why not give it a go? Like,
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, cash is king.
Yes, it is. Yeah. When you've got stock on your shelves, it's not going to pay your bills. So you need to make sure that you're balancing cash flow as well as your profit and loss. And we've learnt that the hard way sometimes as well. Like, it has been a bit challenging to really kind of work out, well, I've got all these bills and I've got wages that I need to pay, but this is how much is in the bank. Where's that going to come from? Like, it's definitely a struggle that I know a lot of businesses face. And we just didn't, like, we didn't have that kind of backup plan there. Like, we've always had to really just make sure that we've, been on top of our cash flow. Yeah.
So your next tip is about staff and the fact that you can't do it all by yourself, that you need staff.
No. If you want a business that is that is a 7-figure business or even a 6-figure business, like, you can't do everything by yourself. Like, we're not like superhumans. Like, we've all got 24 hours in a day, and we need to make sure that we're, using our time efficiently. And again, going back to the business mentor that I had, he always said it was either time or money. Like, you need to make sure that you can either, if it's important, you can either allocate time to it or you can allocate money to it. So, and you just can't do things yourself. Like, you need to, as hard as it is, because I'm a bit anally retentive sometimes about things, and it's hard to like let that stuff go, but you have to, for your own sanity, you have to like let some stuff go and let other people do things that that help you and bring in staff. And you've got to be able to trust your staff to do the job that you've asked them to do. If you are going to keep looking over their shoulder or keep managing them, then you again, like, it's not really efficient. Like, you've got to make sure that you've got good staff and that you've trained them well enough and that that they can run with it. And so trust them to run with it.
Yeah, trust is a big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
your
next tip is decide and stick to it. So what do you mean by that?
There's so many decisions that you have to make as a business owner. So, and decisions can be hard, really hard things. Like, even like we hold a lot of SKUs for a business, and even just deciding what stock we're going to bring in, and like all of that kind of stuff. Like, it's got to be decisions that you make and then move on. Like, you can't keep dwelling over small decisions because then you just end up kind of being stuck. So you just have to make decisions, move on. That's my theory behind that.
So many decisions to make every day.
So many. It's insane. So many. Like, even this morning we're like talking about, or last night my husband and I were talking about, like, we're upgrading our website. So, there's new looks happening in the website and there's bits and pieces, and, like, we're ordering our first lot of furniture from overseas as well. So then there's that whole, we've got to, make sure that we get this order right. But, all of those, like, just worrying about all of those little decisions takes up so much time, and you just got to go, right, that's what we're doing, done. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, and your final tip is learn to sacrifice. So tell us a bit about that.
Yep. One of my business besties actually gave me this lovely little quote that's included in the tip sheet about sacrifice, where you've got options and you can only choose 3 of those a day. I'm trying to find it now. Nah, can't find it. All right. But if you had those options,
it says sleep, friend, work, family, fitness. Pick 3.
Yes, pick 3 a day. You can do 3 of those things a day. Yeah, and I like, you know, it's so true. Like, we try to jam so much stuff in our day, or I do anyway. I try to jam so much stuff in my day as the business owner and as the mum, and like, you just can't do everything. I mean, my house looks like a bomb exploded in it. There's no way I will have friends over anytime soon because my house just looks disgusting. Like, I just can't do that. So, you know, I sacrifice those kind of things to be able to run my business, and then to be able to spend quality time with my children, and you know, spend some time with my husband. Like, you know, you really just cannot do everything all the time. You've got to be okay with those little bits and pieces that, you know, might be sitting on your to-do list, but you just can't get to, and you've got to be okay with that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. All right,
and that's time. I think being okay with it is probably the hard thing. Is being okay, not everything being done. That's probably the hard bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's time for another prize now.
Yay! Prize time. Cool.
Time.
All right. So
could you tell us what the prize is?
Oh, sure. This is one of my favourites. I love marble runs. This is our Discoveroo marble run, and it is so Australian designed. Discoveroo is a wonderful brand, Australian designed. Oh, I've just lost. What happened there? Sorry, I'm now having technical difficulties. My bad. Oh, there we go. Back. Okay. Yeah, so it's the Discoveroo Marble Run. It's one of my favourite products. It's a new one. We haven't had this one out for very long, but yeah, I'm super excited to be able to give that one away.
Awesome. So what's the question that we need to answer to be able to win that prize?
My son is absolutely obsessed with trains, so the question is related to trains. So it is, what colour is the diesel freight train that's on our website?
Okay, so you'll need to go over to offspringeducation.com.au, find out what colour is the diesel freight train. Make sure that you have also signed up to the 28-day challenge, so we've got your email address, so you can go into the draw. Who's going to be?
I feel like we need waiting music. Like, oh, yay! It is correct. It is green.
Yay!
Go, Danielle.
Danielle Stearman, the winner. Awesome. Cool. So, green and orange.
The engine's green, so yeah. The carriages are orange, but yeah, just the engine's cool.
Awesome. Congratulations, Danielle. Okay, I'd love to take questions from our guests. So if you've got any questions, for Lara, we'll grab them. But while they're thinking of their questions, Lara, what do you think is the secret to success? It's my favourite question.
Wow. Oh, I don't think there's just one secret. I think passion is a big thing. I think just having a good understanding of business basics is another big thing. But you also need to be at the end of the day, we're in a business to sell people stuff, or to offer people a service, and that's about people. So business success comes with the comes with the ability to relate to people and the ability to know, know your market and just relate to those kind of people, I think. So that was
Awesome.
three secrets to success. Sorry. But I can't do any less than 3.
Oh, awesome. So have we got any questions? Lucia has just said this. All the things I need to hear from this interview. Okay, here we go. Dee's got a question for you, and she's asking, hi, Lara. Max, my 6-year-old, has been flagged by his amazing teacher for being really advanced, and they're trying to give older kids work in class. I'd love any tips you have to keep him engaged at home, any resources or ideas on things he could do here without the burnout of too much work.
Yeah. Well, Danielle, I would say play. Like, just, let him play when he's at home. And there's lots of like open-ended resources that you can give him that allow him to play at his own level. So, things like blocks and magnetic stuff and, or things like electronic circuits, like those kind of things, they're really open-ended and they'll get his brain thinking, but they'll also engage him in something that he finds curious and interesting. So, and he'll be playing, which, is really what he needs at 6 more so than, I definitely wouldn't recommend, giving him any, sit down work or things like that. Like, I think, play is probably the most important thing. And if you can give him those open-ended kind of tools or open-ended toys that, allow him to, use his mind and follow his curiosity, then, all of that's super important. Does that help?
Are there any other questions? Sounds pretty good. Oh, yeah, I think that's great advice too. The more learning through play, the better.
Yeah, I am a massive advocate. Like, play is a child's native language, and they'll just enter play at their own ability. And as long as they're provided with, tools that allow them to play in an open-ended way, lots of different resources, like all of that kind of stuff, then you're definitely onto a winner.
Yeah, and Danielle's replied, she said, yep, he loves this, and I'm super happy to hear you recommended this, as I've been told to give him work, but he actually loves Lego, magnetic blocks, etc.
Give him as much Lego as you possibly can. Yeah, Lego, magnetic blocks, all of that kind of stuff, definitely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, before we go on to our last prize, I just wanted to see if anybody would like us to email out that tip sheet. Can you please, in the comments, just write tip sheet, please, in the comments below, and we'll get one of those emailed out to you. So everyone who's on the live can write it now, but if you're watching this later, put it in there and we'll get one of those tip sheets out to you as well with all of Lara's tips. Oh, Dee's just said that will make my hubby very happy.
Yeah, definitely.
Love the
and
Lego.
take him out, take him on trips and stuff, take him out to a museum or all of that kind of stuff, open up those experiences for him so that he starts learning about the world around him in a whole bunch of different areas. That's what I'd be doing. Yeah
Fantastic. So, we've got some people who are commenting now that they're, and we'll send that tip sheet out to you. Fantastic.
Yay!
You are signed up to the 28-day challenge too, so that we've got your email address.
Cool. And if anyone has any questions about that tip sheet, then they're welcome to email me as well. I'm more than happy to answer questions via email or,
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Cool. All right. So, yes, as I was saying, we've got our 28-day challenge coming up. It's starting on the 20th of November, and we're going to be setting our goals for 2018, which is pretty exciting. We're going to be reflecting on what happened in 2017 and the lessons that we learnt, but also looking forward to 2018 and setting our intentions and all our goals for what we want to be doing to create the kind of life that we want and the business that we want and the kind of success that we want happening for us. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be delivered as Facebook Lives, quite similar to this format. And there's also going to be PDF worksheets where you can fill out the answer the questions and put your goals down there. So yeah, that's coming up very soon.
Is much better than a verbal goal.
Yes, absolutely. And all the research around goal setting is that like the majority of people don't even have any goals. And then the next amount of people, like they have goals but they don't write them down. They just sort of keep them in their mind. But it's the people who actually write their goals down who are most likely to achieve those goals. So yeah. It's a really important process.
Yeah. And we do goals every staff meeting. I don't know, I can't remember where I got that idea from. But yeah, each of our staff members chooses 3 goals for the month and we talk about those goals at our monthly staff meeting. And yeah, those goals are related to Offspring and to their work, but it's not allowed to be like the stuff that they do every day. Like it has to be, just something like a little bit, extra, a little bit different, or be like a bit more specific, like, open up their targets a bit more. So yeah, that's how we do it.
Of some of the goals that they've set?
Yeah, sure. So, one of them was to get our filing system organised because we didn't have the greatest administration filing system. So that one was pretty good. Yeah, that was a pretty good goal, and that got achieved. So yay. A couple of ones from our sales team have been so like their average was 10 contacts with customers a day. So then they chose to up the ante to that to like 12 and that kind of thing. And, then like for me as a business owner, I try to set goals of, okay, well, I'm going to approach like 2 strategic partners this month because it's not necessarily something that like I see as something that I have to do every day. But I know it's something that will grow my business. So yeah. So they're the kind of goals that we talk about in our monthly staff meetings. Yeah,
very, very cool. Okay, so time for our final prize, and this is a $100 Maya gift card so that you can go shopping for Christmas. And to win the Maya gift card, you have to be the 3rd person to comment. How many days does our upcoming challenge go for? How many days does the challenge go for?
3rd person.
Comment's going to get it. Who's it going to be?
Waiting music. Feel like I'm in an elevator.
Here we go. We've got 2 answers. Who's going to be next?
Oh, hi, Kimberly. I was talking to you via message, or not via messenger, but yeah.
Danielle, you won again.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Hang on a minute. Hang on, I've got to go through the comments. Sorry. Wait. I think she might be 4th. Katie, can you verify who our winner is? I think it might be Lucia.
Hey.
Does that look right, Katie? Are you there? Alex. Okay, let me see. It was the 3rd person to comment, so Katie's saying Alex.
Yep. Hold on to him tight, Danielle.
Okay. Ah! Uh-oh. Yeah, Lucia looks 3rd on my screen as well.
Suspense. Drum roll.
Yeah. I think it is Lucia. I've got Alex as the first commenter, Kimberly as second, and then Lucia was third. Yeah. Okay. Congratulations, Lucia. We will be
Win
sending
again.
that prize out to you. You get a shopping spree, and you also won Lara's other prize too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Bonus.
Well, thank you so much, Lara. It's been wonderful chatting with you today. So much information.
Okay.
And we will be sending out the tip sheet too. So make sure you've commented below if you'd like a tip sheet. And we also have another live chat coming next week, next Thursday, with Lauren from LOL.
Woohoo.
So make sure you've signed up for that, and we'll join you for lunchtime next week. So thanks so much, everyone. Have a great afternoon. Thank you, Lara.
Bye, everyone. That's okay. Mwah. Thanks.
Bye.
See ya. Oh, most welcome, everyone. It's been fun.
Lara, are you still there?